Brothers and sisters, let's just remember how we got to the gospel of today. I made mention of this on Ash Wednesday, but now we take it a step further. Jesus is baptized by John the Baptist in the Jordan. And after his baptism, everyone, he goes into the desert for 40 days to 40 nights to fast and to pray, to remember who he is, to understand, everyone, what his mission is in life. And with that, everyone, at the end of 40 days and 40 nights, what happens? Well, now you hear it. He's tempted. And sometimes the question that we ask so often is this: what's wrong with me? Why am I tempted? Throughout the Lord's Prayer, don't we say, Father, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. And yet we're tempted. So is God to blame, or am I doing something wrong? Am I to blame? What's wrong with me? There are two ways you can look at this. Here's number one. Okay, you're trying to lose weight. And you get this brilliant idea that one of the ways you're going to lose weight is you're going to buy a donut. Okay? You buy a donut. You love donuts. And you decide, I'm going to put it in the middle of the counter. Okay? And every time I walk by it, I'm going to show willpower and I'm going to say no to that donut. Well, how does it go? Here's how it goes. First time you do okay. Second time you probably do okay. But after a while you start thinking, man, that's a waste of a donut. And so what happens in the end, everyone? You eat the donut, don't you? You know who's to blame there? You and me. We've led ourselves down the path. Okay, here's another example. Okay, same scenario. You're trying to lose weight, everyone, but you go buy the donuts in the grocery store. And you see them, everyone, and you say, boy, these look good. But you say no. But you also realize you're tempted, and so you ask yourself, what's wrong with me? Here's the answer: nothing. Unless you sit there and you look at the donuts for 5 minutes. You got a problem. Nothing. And I think that's what the gospel of today is trying to tell us. We often think of Jesus as so divine that we forget he is human. He is human. Everyone, we realize that like you and me, being human, he was tempted 3 times. What were they? He was tempted by bodily desires. He was tempted by power. He was tempted by the ability to amaze others. But here's the difference. Jesus never fell to temptation. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about this Lenten journey. The word Lent means spring. And what do we wait for in the spring, everyone? We look for new life to spring forth. People, that's what Lent is about. New life is to spring forth from us. How does it do it? By taking us back to the beginning. By reminding us that, well, we have sinned. Jesus never sinned. And that story reminds us, everyone, of how powerfully we need the cross. Lent points us to a cross. And it reminds us of how desperately we need it. Now, what does the cross mean, everyone? It means this: mercy. But you know something? That word, mercy, surprises us. I'm going to read to you a story today, everyone. Okay? Here's a story. Here it is. Every morning, David wakes up at 6:30. Every morning, that is, except Friday. On Fridays, he gets up at 4 o'clock. He shaves, showers, and dresses for work at 5 o'clock. He kisses his wife and checks on his kids before leaving for the day. As he looks at them sleeping in their beds, he smiles and says a quick prayer thanking God for his family. On Fridays, David serves the bread line in the city where he works. He puts on a smock, gloves, and a hairnet to serve those who do not have the means to provide for themselves. On any given Friday, David can be seen serving the homeless, the working poor, addicts, and the mentally ill. Some say thank you. Others thank God for him. And still others don't say a word, often returning his smile with a scowl. Every Friday he looks forward to seeing the regulars, Jeff and Alex. After serving food for close to an hour, David is able to sit down with them and share a cup of coffee. The trio shares stories about their kids and favorite athletes growing up. All three enjoy the company far more than the coffee. David isn't a morning person and doesn't enjoy the 4 o'clock wake-up call. He struggles to choke down the stale coffee. And if he had a choice, he would never wear a hairnet. But every Friday, as sure as the sun will rise, he can be found serving the breadline. What do we call what David does? Here it is. We call it an act of mercy. With the Immaculate Conception, December 8th, Pope Francis has asked us to really look at this word mercy. He gave us the word mercy, this year of mercy. And I think many times when we think about mercy, we think about forgiveness. But is it? And now, everyone, we get a peek into what I want to talk about this Lenten journey. 4 things in particular, here they are. Are mercy and forgiveness the same thing? When I say, I forgive someone, am I also saying, I am being merciful to them? Number 2, how do you understand this beatitude? Blessed are the merciful, for they will obtain mercy. Is there something about giving mercy to receiving mercy? Number 3, the story I shared with you above, the story of David, we called it an act of mercy. How so? It is a corporal work of mercy. And number 4, along with corporal works of mercy, there are spiritual works of mercy. People, with the Immaculate Conception, our Holy Father, Pope Francis, everyone, pushed open the holy doors. Bishop Quinn, also at the cathedral, everyone, pushed open the holy doors. And when they did that, what were they trying to do? They were trying to say this, that anybody who comes through this door is to experience mercy. And people, whenever we open these doors, the one thing anybody who comes through these doors should experience, everyone, is mercy. What is it? That's the word we have to unravel. And we start with that next week. But in the meantime, everyone, God's blessings to you. And let's pray for each other that we have a blessed and a mercy-filled Lent.